We're here. We are here.
No.
It is us.
Teleported into it.
I think you're on mute again, Dreamcast. But we are here again. Welcome. It's the Identity Podcast. We have a brand new intro video, so we'll get better with kind of in the flow of that. But I wanted to play it for you on. We have an outro video as well that we get to show you. Our wonderful graphic designer Julie made those for us. So claps for Julie.
Woo!
Julie.
Claps for Julie.
Woo, she's awesome. She has done so much for the show as far as design wise. I mean, all of the color schemes, the logos, the background, all of it is thanks to her. So really, really amazing stuff here tonight. It's the new year. It's 2021. Happy New Year, Tarik. How you doing?
Happy New Year.
New Year, man.
Am I glitching, by the way, guys?
Just a little, but that's okay. We'll deal with it.
Happy New Year.
I feel like it's just been one of those weird, awkward Wednesdays, you know? Everyone's just acting awkward. Anyways, I'm Caleb, one of your co-hosts from the Identity Podcast. Welcome. Don't forget to like us on Facebook at Find Your ID NYC. Check us out on Instagram by the same name. You can check out and follow our TikTok at Identity Podcast, our Twitter by the same name. I mean, the YouTube, the X shows, we're everywhere. You know, we are global, as Dreamcast put it, and I love that. We are global. We are big time. So pretty cool stuff there. But don't forget to also check out the Identity Podcast on Apple, Pandora, Amazon, Google Podcasts, and of course Spotify. We are on there. It's pretty great stuff, and we are not officially sponsored, but we wish we were sponsored by Bang. Thanks to Dreamcast. Might as well go ahead and introduce our guest, your new identity featuring Dreamcast McFly, the amazing artist himself. How you doing?
Man, yo, I'm feeling marvelous. There's an array of emotions going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get into that though.
Indeed.
Exactly.
How was your 2020, man? That's what we're gonna get into. I mean, how's 2021 been so far?
Yo, honestly, what everybody about this whole fuck 2020 thing, like, I'm not feeling it. You know,
Yeah.
2020, like, yeah, okay, things got kind of put off track for a little bit, but it was a great year to re-strategize and strengthen myself in other areas. You know, I've actually been taking more interest in like the production side of things. So I've worked on countless artist music videos over the whole year, since the summer when things started kind of slowing down. But for a good 7 months, I've been working on artist music videos, did my own, and yo, it was honestly a blessing.
I feel that completely, and I know Caleb does too, because 2020 is when we started this podcast.
Exactly,
man.
I think 2020 was really the year for us to internalize a lot of things, and we were able to really focus on our personal selves more. And in fact, I'm going to quote the show, Tarik. I hope you're happy. But 2020 was a great way to reflect, invest, and look into our identities. Boom.
Indeed.
I dropped it.
That's true. Drops bombs so early. We usually get to that point at the end of the episode, but you know, exactly. Dreamcast is an avid watcher. He knows, and anybody that else is watching definitely knows. You know, so 2020 is reflected. You know, as far as numerology. Whoa! And now it's time to move forward. Yeah. I'm getting too crazy too early, right? I got all like Naruto stuff in the back. Obviously,
I love it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So, so
you definitely got to go to yoga studio out there.
Yoga studio, what's up?
Just a yoga studio.
Oh, just pop up at any yoga studio. I thought you knew of
in
one
Atlanta. It's different.
Yeah. Okay.
You've ever done
okay.
trap?
Yeah. No.
Yo,
what's that about?
It's exhilarating. It's yoga, but the trap music.
Trap music.
Really?
Wow. It's like the baby while I'm doing like scorpion pose.
Yeah, like something about doing a warrior pose while Young Thug's playing, like really aligns.
Yeah, I could see that.
I taught a couple classes.
Yeah, oh, you did? Yeah, I mean, that's a great transition, man. So have you been able to kind of like, so you said you've been doing more production, right? So when did you do the trap yoga thing? Was that this year or was that last year?
No, that was 2017.
Okay.
So funny story, true story. This yoga studio let me do something experimental, and it was just like a trial and error thing. They let me do a few classes, and honestly, the people loved it. You know, they just came in, signed a waiver. You know, no cameras allowed. And when they got in the room, I was butt naked, and I encouraged everybody to actually get naked with me, and we did yoga.
That's so cool. They actually.
I thought I was frozen for a minute. No,
two different types of people. I think that's so cool that they actually do say with yoga it's best to wear less clothing if none at all. Honestly, that's really, I've never even heard that with trap music. I've never heard of that. Yeah, I have heard of yoga with different types of music. I actually do know there are groups out there that listen to like classical or jazz music while doing yoga, which is kind of interesting as well. I think anything like that would make a really interesting identity episode. To be honest, tackling yoga in all forms.
Right. I love how Dreamcast says, I encourage them also to get naked. So he's already naked when they walk in, and he's just like, join me.
Just like join me. And honestly, like, I know it sounds funny, but the whole thing was to get everybody more comfortable with their bodies.
Yeah.
And that's funny, you were doing that type of stuff in 2017.
And whatnot. A lot of people go to nude beaches and everyone's uncomfortable. Like, I've been to them, and it's like, why are we staring at each other's dicks right now? It's very uncomfortable. I went like a few times, and I can't ever take off my shades because I'm like, yo, you're not gonna look at my dick and then look me in the eye. Like, it's
down and up.
Oh boy, that's so funny. You know, to attest to his situation, I think sometimes culturally that is something very odd. You know, especially it's like that's something we do. When I went to Japan, I experienced that. They had like public baths and onsens and hot springs. And the first time I got there, I was just like gargantuan, tall person, and it was just like they were just like, "Yo, who just invited the basketball player in here?" So, word. And so, yeah, we won't go into crazy details in that aspect, but yeah, it was a lot. So I don't know. I think there's something to it, to what you're describing, and I think that a lot of what you're talking about has a lot of reflection and like vulnerability to be around people to be like that, you know. And I think a lot of what happened last year was a lot of vulnerability, a lot of self-reflection, and like also group reflection. I realized too, like a lot of people are learning how to do stuff together as well. So that's been crazy, man. So, so you said you've been doing production and stuff. How's that been going? What program are you using?
So I don't actually do any of the editing.
Okay.
I work on set, just kind of as production set designer. I work on storyboards and, you know, just behind the scenes content. So all the clients are just super happy. They can post something on social media right away, make it look fun and exciting. And Honestly, like the work's been paying off. We just recently got some more high-profile clients. One of them's a rapper in Young Money.
Wait, say that again?
Oh, one of the clients me and my partners have is a rapper from Young Money.
Okay, yeah, undisclosed. Yeah, I think that's awesome, man. I mean, as long as it's not Drake or something, like then you should tell me. You could tell me, Drake.
Okay. It's not Drake. It's not Drake.
It's not Drake.
But no, that's awesome. Are you doing that remotely?
Sorry.
Are you in Florida? No, I'm sorry, because sometimes there's a bit of a delay. So I'm sorry if I'm talking over you.
No. I said it's not Nicki either. Sorry.
Oh, that's what you said? Yeah, that's so funny. So it's Gutta.
No, secret's out.
No, I love it. No, I mean, you never said anything. I just assumed because it's only 3 main members of Young Money. But yeah, are you doing this from Florida? Or are you doing this remotely?
Mostly in Florida. I've done a couple remote jobs where just storyboarding for artists in New York, artists in Atlanta.
Nice.
And been a pretty lucrative business, I have to say, because concerts are all the way shut down.
Right.
So that's how I personally just re-strategized.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, doing behind the scenes photography, I literally just started in July? And every time I'm on set, these artists are always asking me like, yo, how long you been doing photography? I'm like, I don't know, a couple months.
Wow.
Like, what?
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, that's quite an inspiration because I think that a lot of people, and I think we started off with a lot of entrepreneurship, obviously, when we first started the podcast. And I guess this is kind of be like, we don't want to put you fully on the spot. I guess we're kind of getting interviewed as well in the sense of what we did for 2020. But yeah, when we first started in August, I make this joke all the time. It was a lot of real estate, a lot of stuff like that. But then we kind of gradually went into entrepreneurship, and a lot of people
important information though.
Yeah, people still go back and tell me that it's really cool. But I think it inspired us to do something different, and that's what I just wanted to hint at. I've worked in production for a long time, but I've never done podcasts before. So this was the first time I was able to kind of walk into that field. So I'm glad that you're exploring new talents with yourself, and we're definitely going to showcase this video. I don't know if anyone else has got a chance to check it out. He did his thing, so we're definitely going to showcase that and watch it. But I really think that we don't have to if you don't want to.
No. It's all good. It's all good.
I mean, unless you want to do a live show right now, man. I mean,
yeah, you can perform for us.
I'm just bothering.
Yeah, sorry for putting you on the spot, but we're gonna put you more on the spot.
Right. Here's a bigger spotlight. Here's a ring light. So yeah, I hope that everyone that's watching nowadays, and this is a very festive episode. We're just back in. We're kind of recapping. We got a chance to go past the entrepreneurship and then start moving on to religion and all sorts of fun stuff. So we'll get into the nitty gritty of that stuff. But as far as entrepreneurship is concerned, we're definitely going to revisit that this year for sure, because a lot of people have, like you said, just felt like 2020 was a wash. And I really do feel that that's not how I took it personally. Yeah. The entertainment industry shut down for me too, man. And it was jarring. We went from doing a whole lot of shows and a bunch of other stuff and then nothing, So it's it's a lot. But I do think that there are opportunities for concerts nowadays, more than we can think of. I think that there are a lot of platforms out there that are going to be a lot more remote for sure. And I think people having their own studio home base could be ideal for that particular aspect. But I think what you've done is very, very phenomenal. And a lot of people can take a page out of your book by just saying look, I have this time, I have this talent. What do I not know? You know what I mean? What can I do? Not, with not knowing what to use these talents for. So People make jingles, people make commercials with music, people do all sorts of other stuff with what they're doing. So, that's a niche market.
Nice.
But we started this podcast, man. You did a commercial. You've done a jingle?
I did.
You did? Oh God!
did.
Can you sing it? No.
I did.
Is it the Empire one? Are you famous?
No. It was something a little more like shop local designers.
Okay.
I knew this, yes, because I actually
we promo that, I think.
Yeah, and I knew this because I was in the meeting the other day that we were talking about all this, and I'm fairly certain I've seen it already too.
Right. I still haven't actually got a hold of this video.
You haven't seen it?
It's the entertainment business.
I saw like a rough draft, and that was it.
Really?
Yeah.
Amani showed it to me like last week. she said, or whenever the last time she was on the stream, and she was just like, "Hey, I'm sending you this SLD thing, and if it works, you can use it for the episode. If it doesn't, then you can just watch it." I'm like, "Okay," so I just watched it. But it sounds great, though. I love it.
Yeah, you did your thing, man. I really enjoyed it. And for all you people that don't know what Shop Local Designers is, yeah, you can explain that a little bit. I'm actually looking up one of your YouTube videos right now. So hold on.
Oh, you want me to? Okay, I'll talk about it. I was actually trying to find this video.
Oh, you're doing the same thing. So yeah, I'll talk about it. Yeah, Shop Local Designers is basically it kind of started from a lot of like shop black type of thing. That's kind of what started it, but it's more about all small businesses and everyone that may want to get involved. So definitely check us out at Find Your ID for that type of stuff. If you are an artisan, designer, any type of thing, like definitely reach out and try to see if you can get sponsored on our thing. I'm curious to hear how music has changed. Me and Dreamcast have spoken a lot, but how have you felt that music has changed over the past 3 years?
Wait, is this a question for me?
That is for you, yeah, man.
Oh,
I think Caleb looks at that.
So music's changed. I honestly believe that the music marketing aspect has changed drastically.
Okay.
A lot of artists are seeing there's not truly a need for the whole record label scenario, because forever there was the formula: you get signed to a record label, they put you on the radio, they put you on TV, and then you're set. But people are now learning about the whole facade of that, because a lot of those artists, quite frankly, they either are broke or they go broke in a matter of months.
Yeah.
I mean, some of that's due to poor money management skills. A lot of that's due to pretty predatory contracts.
Yeah.
You give somebody who's never had anything in their life $20,000 up front, $25,000, $50,000. They're gonna take it and run with it and think that's it, and not even look in the fine print of everything.
Yeah, that's something that I think like I said, this year has been a lot for me, is learning personal finance in a very deep way, and how that can kind of like start to move. At the end of the day, music is an entrepreneurship and a business. So I think a lot of people just forget the business aspect of it, and that's all. And I think a lot of independents. I mean, there's a difference between an independent rapper and a SoundCloud rapper too. I wanted to get into that too. Not to say there's anything wrong with it, but it's like some of it is just to get aggregate a lot of the data and get more people to start watching their stuff, which is great. It's marketability. It's wonderful. But how much are you monetizing from that? So at the end of the day, you got to just kind of figure out like what is your niche and how can you attack that argument. And you have a very specific genre. I've never heard of disco trap. I've never heard anybody say that before. But you're in Miami, which is like, I mean, not Miami, but Miami has a huge disco house scene. And for you to kind of bring in some of those much more like Southern trap elements and California trap and New York and stuff, it's really cool stuff, man. And I advise everybody to kind of take a look at some of his projects. I've been promoting it all day on my Instagram. Yes. So what was the most recent song that you came out with?
The most recent song, I actually dropped a video by accident last night. It's a freestyle I made called Pizzagate.
Oh, you dropped it by accident?
I saw that.
Yeah, that was totally by accident. Like I was just trying to write everything out and just save it as a draft, and then
you get sick.
Shared the post.
I mean, my thing is like,
oh, too late.
I mean, I don't know if anybody knows what Pizzagate is, but it's like for him to accidentally drop something like a conspiracy theory to that level. That's a conspiracy theory right there. Like, why did he drop it? No. But I thought I actually got a chance to look at it, and I was like, "Wow, this is not what I thought it was going to be." And I often have that. I often have that with some of your music. I'm just like, I don't know which way he's coming from. The first time I heard your music, and this is actually a little anecdote that we can kind of get into, and maybe we can transition to some music for a second, because I know you guys are probably tired of hearing us talk for a second. I was I think I was at a Find Your ID event, and I got to the point of, I was like, oh, like, what is that? And it was just like, I like a thick girl, something, thick. I was like, I've never heard anybody be that blunt or confident. And then it was just like, it was amazing. It was like, sit on my face, all types of stuff. I mean, it was good. And I think, in a world of intense body dysmorphia and Instagram and all this other stuff, like, I think that was very empowering for a lot of people. So I really love that song. That's one of my favorites of yours for sure. I often post that one because it's just like when they see that, like, first of all, the graphics are funny. It's just like, wait, I have to bring it up. I can't even do it justice. I have to show a picture of it. It's good. It's like some people may think you're a comedy rapper. Sometimes I think that, but the reality of the situation is just you're so confident about things that are contrarian that a lot of people can kind of get like a little mix in the sauce of it. I mean, you're mixing disco and trap, man. That's like, that's amazing. It's like, it's like putting The Weeknd on blast, man.
No. Thank you, man. Thank you. The whole thing is like, yeah, some of it's funny. What I try to do is just attack social issues in a fun sort of way. Nowadays you can't be too preachy as a rapper because honestly it just turns people all the way off. And I never want to be pretentious about anything or give off the notion that I'm like coming down on people like, oh, I know more than you. You need to listen to me. So
I hear that.
With the whole body dysmorphia thing and just a whole movement, especially last year, 2020, and started in 2019 with the whole body positivity movement. I was like, I'm gonna make a song about big girl sitting on my face.
I feel like he's not doing himself justice right now because like the confidence that is exuded. I can't wait to play it, but the confidence that's exuded while you're actually like, recording this song is so funny. How shy you are, in person. So that's how shout out to being an artist and just like letting the work speak for itself. But yeah, man. Hold on a second. Let me. Is it called Big Girl? Is that how is that what it's spelled?
Yeah, it's called Big Girl. Funny enough, I made that cover art.
That's what I wanted to show. Oh my God, it's funny.
It's a great song. It really is a great song, and I love the I love that the side of body positivity that it brings. And I actually had the opportunity. This is how I actually met Dreamcast, was by writing about this song. I don't know if you remember that or not, Dreamcast, but
of course.
we were able to talk on the phone for a while and able to talk about this song because I was writing a press release for it, and the friendship blossomed from there, and I've been hooked on his music since, and it's been great. And so I was able to witness the release of Cloud Surf, which is a phenomenal tune. In fact, I think
we're definitely gonna play that too.
I think I was one of the few people to receive a couple teasers of that video and song, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll take my success and mark it.
You're like 1 out of 5.
1 out of 5. I'll take it. It's an honor just to know that you wanted to send that to me and thought of me. But honestly, though, I've written a lot of things about you and for you, Dreamcast, and it's such an honor and so much fun to write about you and your music, because as Tarik was saying, it's something that you just wouldn't hear elsewhere. You wouldn't. It's not something I'm going to, go to a venue every Friday and hear the same artist. No, it's completely different from that. In fact, It's like every other Friday I hear the same artist, but on this Friday I'm hearing Dreamcast McFly, and Dreamcast McFly is going to blow my mind. That's what he's going to do, and that's what he does do. And the craziest and coolest thing about it is the fact that I don't even have to see you live to still get that sense of the taste and feel for music. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Like, I mean this so deeply and dearly, because the music that you release, and what I love is that it's on every single track you release. It's not the newer stuff. It's not your older stuff. It's everything you've released. And so when I hear something new from you, the first thought that pops in my head is this excitement. Like, I can't wait to feel this again. Especially in 2020, when we weren't able to have concerts and I wasn't able to go to a show every Friday like I used to, and all that. Not being able to do that sucks. And so being able to still get that feeling from music is all I ever need. So thank you for that.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, man. 2021, man. It's a new year for all of us, man. So we have a comment from Imani. She actually wants to hear it, but I wanted to show that image really quickly because I just wanted to show everybody. So this is the image, of course. I think it's hilarious personally because when I first saw the image, I only saw the big girl, and then I realized, oops, sorry guys. I realized that it was actually a face in there, and between the cheeks is somebody we know close to home. Genius. So I thought it was hilarious, and I thought it was like, you're in your own lane and you're doing your thing. So let's play Big Girl really quickly, if you have it. Caleb, do you have it?
I didn't know I was supposed to.
I have it loaded up. Hold on one second.
All right. But yeah, Big Girl. I remember when I first saw that. It was.
It's the clean version, by the way.
It was great. Oh, you ready?
You want the clean version? All right, whatever.
This is for all of our listeners to the podcast out there. This is Big Girl by Dreamcast McFly.
Can you guys hear that?
Last night had a dream queen, it's Sierra Rogers. After sex, she went ahead and fixed a new cobbler. Damn, all these skinny women think I got a problem till I go stay so much they call me Phantom of the Opera. Need a thick jump, keeping me warm in the wintertime. Know that she blessed, got stretch marks of cellulite. Know how to dress, she don't know what's a finish line. Open up her legs and say, baby, it's dinner time. Wow. Hey, big guns to my face. Wow. Hey, big guns to my face. Wow. Hey, big guns to my face. Wow. Hey, does your milkshake make an earthquake? Let me know. Does your milkshake make an earthquake? Let me know. Does your milkshake make make earthquake, let me know. Does your milkshake make earthquake, let me know.
So yeah, I don't know if the audio was really good there. So
that was my favorite part. I love that part.
Yeah, did I ruin it? I'm sorry. The milkshake part or the part after that?
The milkshake part.
The milkshake part, yeah.
There's milk
coming for Khalees right there, easy. That's so funny. But how did you come up with this, man? Like, when did it start? Like, you were just like, just in the stew, and you're just like, this is it. This is what I want to do.
Actually, funny enough, I came up with the concept when I was at a fashion show. I was walking a fashion show, and they actually asked for plus size models, and then the designer didn't have any clothes for her.
No.
And she was like, came to me and was just like, yo, this is complete bullshit. And I was just like, yo, they really just, I was like shocked, because I'm like, damn, the world really just, you know, treats plus size models like chopped liver. So I honestly, like, that's the moment actually where I wanted to do a song for plus size models. And then this random producer out in the UK, I'm telling you, these producers overseas, like, I don't know what goes through their head. Like,
right?
I don't know really what goes through their head, but their beats are just completely infectious. Like, I've worked with a lot of UK producers, guy out in Dublin, guy out in Amsterdam. But anyways, this guy in the UK, he sent me this beat, didn't have any title or direction. It was just XXX Tentacion type beat. I'm like, okay, whatever, let me hear it. And immediately it just came through. It was infectious. And I came up with the chorus, "Big girl sit on my face."
Awesome. That's the chorus that everybody remembers.
That was the chorus, like, "Big girl sit on my face." And the rest of it just came together. One of the plus size models I follow is Sierra Rogers. She has like a whole clothing line specifically geared towards plus size women. And
Sierra Rogers for sure.
Yo,
you might get a sponsorship from her if we do this correctly.
I might. Her sister talks to me periodically, which is kind of like bizarre. That was kind of bizarre. I'm like, wait, what? What's going on here? But yeah, so I just threw that little line in there about Sierra Rogers. You know the line.
Yeah. I don't know if we got there in the actual song, but yeah. But yeah, I think that was amazing. I think my other note is kind of like, you know, that's kind of like how you first started, and I wanted to kind of like parallel that to how we started with our entrepreneurship, you know, podcast and how that was going. We had some phenomenal people that came on and told us about what they were doing with their time and their energy and all the other fun stuff. But as we grew, we found out that we wanted to do more and kind of give back more to bigger communities. And that's when we started to do more religion on our religion series. So, and that's how we started to do all that stuff. So we're going to just, you know, parallel our trajectories together and see how that's been. Dreamcast has been he's actually been on one of the episodes. So definitely go back and check Dreamcast's episode when he's in PR and having a good old time. But it's one of Caleb's favorite episodes. We're going to do a highlight reel one day about this whole thing. You know, just our journey about this. It's been a lot, you know. Caleb's been learning so much. I've been learning so much about myself, and it's been really awesome. So as we got into the On Religion series, we started to realize what value we were actually providing to people, as well as what we were gaining from it. So how much of that have you noticed since Big Girl, and as you're going on, like, how much have you realized that you're actually creating something for other people as well?
Oh man, definitely. It was definitely like in the moments where I was just shopping around Big Girl to different audiences. It felt really dope for plus size, not only just plus size models, but just women in general to feel more confident and really just really take in all of the energy. You know,
Right.
it was a beautiful experience. And after releasing Cloud Surf, which was kind of like a recap of the entire year, just like, okay, we've made it here, we'll celebrate. Wow, how yo. No, I'm just laughing because the whole Cloud Surf out now, literally while I'm talking.
I'm just good.
Yo, that was crazy. Yeah, I just wrote that like as a recap of the entire year, like just everything I've been up to, everything that we should celebrate as an entire community, and the fact that people reached out to me and were just loving the energy, just loving how free I was out in the mountains of Atlanta. Which, by the way, go to Arabia Mountain. You're gonna.
Oh, in Atlanta? Yeah, I'll check it out. I'll check it out, man. So when did Cloud Surf get released? That was this year, or was that last year?
That was the tail end of last year.
Tail end of 2020.
Yeah. It was around Halloween, right?
Halloween. Okay.
Right around Halloween.
Yeah.
We dropped a video like just a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
If even that, it was like a day before the new year. It was really, yeah. It's pretty recent, but the video is great. Definitely check out the video. And I know we're
we're gonna show it right now. Let's give them a good look
it on Find Your ID NYC, and obviously Dreamcast is always promoting his own video. So definitely check it out there. It's a great video. I had the pleasure of seeing bits of it before. Yeah, Tarik.
Yeah, I got it loaded up.
All right, let me mute myself.
I love a thick bitch with thick Jamaican accents, full of passion like Dreamcast. Where your ass been? Walk of fashion, directed and you act. Need a Grammy and an Emmy, and I'm ready for the action. Cue the lights and the camera. Quiet on the set, please. I was always the way, yes. Hand me the keys to the jet ski. Jetson, jet set, radio with Jetson. Get mad when you see me in your girls' mentions. Just laugh when they really think they could best me. Just rap to you, but for me it's blessing. Close your eyes if you feel the vibe. The league is alive every time I rhyme. So I pray to the skies that my bros won't die. Real nigga, I ain't really ashamed to cry, but I don't wanna shed a single tear. Celebrate, we made it through another year. In a world where nothing is real. McFly, go ahead and give up something to feel. Shit, I ain't got no enemies. Too focused on renewable energy. Oh, you feel you better than me? That's cool. I'm trying to leave a better world for your seeds, man.
Amazing.
I love that song so much.
Oh, someone's got Imani has a comment.
Yeah, she said,
I definitely
give me a Grammy and an Emmy.
Give me a Grammy and an Emmy. That's one of my favorite lines too. And I think a lot of that has. No, I think it's. I mean, see, he's so humble. That's why he's laughing. But it's just a lot of the stuff you said. Is not being said in rap, and your approach to it is very different. You're not trying to be, like some trap rapper. You're not like the beats may be trap, but it's not. That's not the way you're approaching it. Honestly, when I first heard the song, it almost sounds like an old school song. To be honest, that was the first thing I thought of. And but it has like this like updated ideas and like the visuals. I don't know who did the video, man, but amazing, super amazing. I like the fact that you mentioned both a Grammy and an Emmy, because we said how you had transitioned as an entrepreneur to start to learn how to do more production and set design and a bunch of other stuff, aka music videos, and that can translate to a lot of different other skills. So I think that we should all be aiming for that EGOT, man. You're the next John Legendary or something. Dreamcast McLegendary or something. But I think it's awesome. Yeah, I know your face. It was a John Legend joke, whatever. But but he has the EGOT, and he has an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a bunch of other stuff. But I think that we need to stop pigeonholing ourselves. You're an artist. You're not just a musician. You know what I mean? And a lot of what you put your mind to has become amazing. So I did the whole video just to inspire people, because there's our next topics that we're going to actually get into is environmentalism as we move forward. And you mentioned a lot of little tidbits in there on top of just your own self-development. The visuals are very open. It's awesome.
Renewable energy.
Yeah, he did say he said a lot about that.
So, I think I know every lyric in that song.
You do? Exactly.
If you can tell, I was singing along with the song. I definitely do. I have a lot of favorite parts in that song. One of my favorites is when you say single tear, and then there's a single tear. I love that. I love that part. I don't know why. It's just like this echo, and it kind of comes out of nowhere type of thing, and it's just like single tear.
Quick false pedal for you.
During this year, like earlier this year, during the summer. Well, not this year, last year, during the summer, I actually caught COVID.
Oh, wow.
Actually caught COVID. It was the worst 2 days of my life.
Well, at least it only lasted 2 days. Thank God.
Yeah, it only lasted 2 days. The worst part of it lasted 2 days. I couldn't eat, could barely move. My body felt like it was aching, and I didn't even work out. Luckily, I recommend everyone have a woman friend who's Jamaican. They're gonna give you some crazy home remedies. It's gonna taste disgusting, but it works.
It does, man.
It does. It really does. Natural medicine is how I was able to just get back. So that whole segment with I don't want to shed a single tear. Actually, my videographer, he lost a couple people to COVID, and I know like a lot of us have lost people to this virus. So in that moment, I was just personally thankful that nobody close to me got taken by this, because nobody really wants to go through that.
Yeah
Nobody really wants to go through that. And it was just a celebration. Celebration.
I think
celebration of Caleb, celebration of everybody who made it through here.
Yeah, shout out to that, man. Yeah, for sure. Claps around. I think that kind of goes back into what we were talking about earlier about 2020. And I think, as we hit our 40 45-minute mark, we can kind of get into some more, current events and crazy stuff that's been going on. 2020 is a mouthful. I mean, if you really want to go through and look at all our episodes, I'm sure you'll get a chance to get a lot of what's going on. But, we were able to step out and be a paramount for someone else. And I think that was awesome. I also like that it's celebratory, and I think you were saying earlier that a lot of people are just kind of like in this like very hateful bitterness from 2020. And if you took that into the new year, chances are you're going to kind of perpetuate that. And we're seeing that in the government. We're seeing that in politics. So I'm curious, what are your thoughts on that?
Hey, Tarik, 1 second before we get to that, I do want to talk about 2020 once more. Yes, you can go through all of our episodes, the Identity Podcast. You can check us out as we really start off in 2020, and here we are in 2021 now. So excited to see what is coming, and we have several plans for 2021 as does Dreamcast. But something I do want to say, and I think it's a great place to say it at, is with COVID, everything going on, 2021, the pandemic is still going on for everyone that's listening and watching. I just want to say that we've lost a lot of people in this country, a lot of people in this world due to this virus. This is something that has affected every single person's daily life. And we've grown up watching TV shows and movies, listening to music, reading books about these things, playing video games about these things, thinking that it would never happen. And maybe not to the necessary extent that those art forms were, but it's happening. And so I just want everyone out there that has been recently affected by this, has been affected by this personally, or anybody who maybe friends, family, whatever it may be. I want you to know that we are here with you and we feel you. And I guarantee you that Dreamcast himself, who has gone through COVID, who has had it, and I know Tarik and myself have both known several people that have gotten it, to people very close to us, people I know right now that have it. I just want everyone to know, and I don't mean to sound preachy, but I just want everyone to know that we are with you. This is a difficult time. And one of my favorite things about life is the fact that, and it's really shining bright through this time, is the fact that we are all three on different screens. We are in 3 different cities right now. We are far away from each other, miles and miles apart, yet we are so close right now. We are so close.
Yeah.
That is what is amazing about life, is the fact that we might be far apart, but we are together at heart. That's really cheesy, but you get the point.
I'm good. That was good.
But I just want to say that real quick. But yes, to reflect, unfortunately, some of that past turmoil, and are we really surprised at all to be reflected to today, January 6th? And so, let's talk about everything that happened at Capitol Hill today.
Man,
I mean, I don't know if anyone had seen the video. I mean, you'd probably be living on the rock if you don't. But if you don't know the full extent of kind of what happened, basically, the Capitol Hill got stormed by a bunch of. I guess I don't want to like label them. Yeah, because it's like we start labeling stuff, and it gets kind of crazy,
They are technically domestic terrorists.
They are technically domestic terrorists. Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, I was gonna say the other thing of like what supporters they were and all that other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you can say
that. That's kind of beyond the point. The point is that people at a level of they don't know where to go anymore. So a lot of times they're gonna just kind of do different things to change, and it's scary to hear that this is happening so. Like we literally just broke into the new year, and I think no one really cares. No one cares that it's a new year, and no one really, like some people are denying that things are even happening. We're in a huge denial phase. People have a lot of, besides the COVID thing, and the reason why I want to bring back into entrepreneurship is people are really struggling, and it's at a point where it's like, okay, we've been struggling for a year. Who am I? They've lost a lot of who they were. They don't know what they're doing. And that's why, the on religion aspect and on religion series has been so interesting to me, because you got a chance to find out who you were, amongst other things. These spiritual leaders were still at a loss, not necessarily, spiritually, but what to do amongst this world. And, some people are taking other radical decisions, and they basically stormed the Capitol and pushed the people around. I mean, I guess I could show some videos and stuff, but you guys can check that out when you want to. I mean, it's insane. It's really insane, the fact that it's gotten to this level. So my little 2 cents, besides, kind of what exactly happened, is it kind of reminds me a lot of, Huey Newton, when he first said that we should kind of take up arms in LA, use our right to bear arms to start to create and control politics in a very significant way. Now, the idea of gun laws and all this other regulations happened because the minority of the group, they felt like they were basically building, America felt like he was basically building a militia to come against America. And now we're seeing it in a much more racially divided space. And it's less about, quote unquote, minorities or black people with guns, and more about just straight up terrorists. Now, they were both labeled terrorists because of what was going on, but their missions are so different. And I think that, that's kind of how I've thought about this whole thing. I actually invest in stocks as well, and everything was going really good until we heard a lot of this news. Shout out to also being in Georgia. We just got a Democratic, Senate and stuff like that. That's really nice. I was here on a very pivotal day. A lot of people kept asking me to vote. Right, exactly. Who am I really, right? I had to rig the election, man. I had to rig the election. No, that's what this ninja code is. So I was just like putting polls in everywhere, running like Naruto. No.
Naruto running to the
but we're happy about what's going on, and I think a lot of people don't know what that politically means for a lot of people. So basically, just to break it down a bit, now that the House is basically 50-50, it basically gets to a point where laws can actually be more democratic. We grew up in the idea of a very liberal democratic world, in the sense of like, okay, things can kind of go either way, like Republican or Democrat. So we've been living in a fully democratic world for before this, and fully Republican for the last couple of years as well. So I don't think we've really experienced this much balance before, and it's causing a lot of unrest for people. It's causing a lot of uneasiness, but I think we're finally at a level where democracy can kind of like flourish, and it's not. People don't care about votes. People care about storming capitals. So that's my little 2 cents.
I mean, we've been in a climate for, X amount of years where the actual truth isn't really relevant. It's more about what's more entertaining. So, and there's a lot of things that's just taken place, that this whole storm of Capitol Hill didn't surprise me in the least bit. I started getting a lot of people texting me like, "Did you see the news? Did you see the news? Are you watching news right now?" Checked in, and honestly, I was completely unfazed. At this point, it definitely feels like a certain group of people are kind of taunting minorities, and this was just disgusting display that was completely evident of that. It's funny that you bring up the whole Huey Newton scenario and relay that to today, and the giant difference is, one, our nation's not going to label them domestic terrorist. Like, mainstream media is not going to label them domestic terrorist. And the second point is lack of repercussions. Everybody left scot-free.
Yep.
I think the worst part for me was seeing video of law enforcement taking selfies with the protesters. Like, this is a joke. This is honestly a joke. I feel like we're living in a reality TV show at this point.
It's, like, I think Caleb made a joke earlier. He was like, we play video games about this. We have, like, I mean, down from BioShock to Resident Evil to, like, every pandemic move / like straight anarchy. I mean, I don't know if anybody's really been into The Purge. The first Purge or something like that. That was a big racial thing. A lot of this stuff has been hinted at for a long time, and I'm very curious about what we're walking into. What is this next level of what's going on? So it's weird that they take it as a joke, because the first time when we heard about these riots, the idea of the word riot has been overplayed at this point for the last year for sure. A lot of people were saying they weren't rioting. Some people were looting. Shout out to those people that got those shirts from those big companies. Anti-capitalism. No, I'm joking. But a lot of people,
PS4.
Yeah, right. I wish, if the PS5 came out at the time people were rioting, it would have been a different world, bro. You saw Sony waited. They were like, let's wait till America's okay before we release this PS5. But yeah, I mean, I think we're at a revolutionary space, and it's a huge divide now. It's like you're on one side or the other. There's no in between anymore, man. And some of that's good, because now we're getting people that may have been sitting on the sidelines that wasn't helping out before. But at the same time, you're garnering some more support for, the forces of evil, the forces of those that are trying to do things that are against humanity in a sense. And I don't know. I feel like every word that I've heard as far as this rioting thing is concerned, all of those protests were good. In China, they called them rioting, but those people, those Chinese came out, from Hong Kong. They were able to, like, protect themselves and a bunch of other stuff, from the fights. So this was a joke, and it seems like it was a joke, because I don't know how anybody's able to walk through there. From what I've always heard, if you step on the grass, you get sniped. Like, that's what I was always
right.
told that. Like, as soon as you step on the grass, you're done. And just to show
like,
how
they have snipers on all the rooftops.
That's what they say, but either that's a lie or this was organized. So me and Caleb are getting into conspiracy theories one day. But
even if it wasn't organized, it was. I mean, it was egged on. Because to be honest, I don't know if this was I actually don't think this was organized. I really don't.
Okay.
But it was definitely egged on by our president. I mean, he literally, once he finally released a video, I don't know if you've seen it, but once he finally released the video, telling people to go home, he also said, "You are all special. I love you." Go home. Like, wow. Okay. So
he's like a cult leader, bro. Like, it's insane. And I have my 2 cents about him. I think he's a double-edged coin with his Gemini, his Gemini ways. So, but yeah, I'm sorry, Caleb. I just wanted to add that.
No, you're totally fine. No, you're totally fine. I mean, and at the same time, he was continuing to deny that he lost the election. It's just been a lot of back and forth. And the worst part about it is I don't really feel like anything's been necessarily fully planned out. It's more of the fact that I think he's just dangling the strings, he's holding his puppets, his supporters, his loyal fans, and putting in basically just having them do things. But the thing is, though, is that he's not even having to explicitly say this. He can literally just say, this is unfair, this is unright. And it just so happens that today's the day that that Congress the Senate is voting on the election and everything, the certification. And it's not like, obviously it was planned in the sense of the people that were going to Capitol Hill, the terrorists, they were definitely planning this. They didn't just wake up one day, said today's the day. They obviously were ready for it, because if you see the pictures, you've seen the videos, you know they were ready for it. So it's a very interesting thing, because I agree there is definitely kind of that conspiracy theory side to it, but I don't feel like right now there is necessarily any conspiracies to it. I think it's simply as we see it right now. People really are that radical. People really are that terrible, and people do not understand what is going to happen if this continues. I mean, literally, we're looking at a civil war.
Yeah, that's how I see it as well. And I was
yeah,
that was no, it wasn't a rant. It was just like heavy, because it's like it's at a point where, again, America's at a place where it's like, okay, we don't have the economy to keep everybody separate and happy anymore. People are at a loss. Their lives, people have lost people. They've lost a lot of money. People are at their wits' end, and that's why I keep trying to, I'm putting this in perspective to not be too biased, because at the end of the day, if this many people believe in something, how much of this is is whatever, there's something to what they're saying. And I do think there is a lot of DeFi and a lot of just moving from centralized government just happening in a lot of places. Like Bitcoin's at an all-time high.
Yes.
Apparently in the next 4 or 5 months, it's going to surpass gold. We'll see how that goes. But, but that alone will supplant a lot of the thoughts of who we were. Our US economy is based in gold. So as digital becomes a much bigger thing, how much of is our US dollar going to really matter? How much is US going to really be the strong superpower that we all grew up with? All of this weight that we've been moving forward with is World War II.
It's a glass ceiling.
World War II. It's going to be another world war.
It's a glass ceiling, my man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Honestly, the US dollar doesn't really mean anything anymore. This economy has gotten so bad. We're so behind and so much debt. I'm literally on my phone playing with fake money. I'm literally buying fake money right now.
What do you mean?
Crypto.
Oh yeah, I'm a crypto head too. To the moon, man. I mean, it's not as fake as you think it is. Apparently, it's backed in more stability and less politics than all of the currencies put together.
I mean, yes.
But at the same time, somebody said if you throw an EMP and you just blow up all the computers in the world, everybody's money gets crashed. So, Mr. Robot. So, I don't
know. Don't put that evil on me.
Right. No, I have Bitcoin as well, so that would crush me a lot, believe me. But I think it's a thing of the future. I do think that it should not be too politically manipulated, even though there's a lot of institutional investment in it right now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I try to keep it kosher. But I just feel like America is in a place where it's like we're not what we used to be, and our boomers are dying off, and a lot of them were holding it down. Boomers came after World War II. You know why they were booming? Because America at some point was able to have enough money to make enough to make more children. I think we're going back to a point where America really was. All that debt is getting paid back. The only reason why we made it out of World War II is because we entered late, and we also entered on the winning side. And we ended up getting the most bank out of it. Classic American stuff. So I don't know, maybe it's just fizzling out and we have to find something new. We have, in a sense of, EVs and big tech. Most of our big tech guys are American, thank God. Elon Musk and, all these other guys, and they just manipulate the world through all sorts of finagly stuff. But the general middle class and lower class, there's nothing for them, real estate is really tight. And a lot of people were connected to that level. Not to say you shouldn't still look for it, because the interest rates are very low. And I'm actually still thinking that there are properties out there to get, to build equity in. But someone told me they put $100,000 into Bitcoin when it was 10,000, and obviously it's 3x since then. So they only have $500,000 now almost. So, how much of that money are we flipping through the housing? How much are we flipping that through America? Most of these, I trade sometimes in Bitcoin, but most of those active hours are when we're sleeping in America. So that only goes to show me that the majority of people that have invested are either in Europe or on the other side of the world. So say all that to say, we're not the center of the universe anymore. And I think it's kind of a good thing, because if America kind of gets off its high horse, I mean, there are some other powers that are waiting to jump in, like Russia and a bunch of other people and China. But I think if we can get to much more of a level playing field in America, like the land of the free that we said we were this whole time, now that we're actually doing that, it might be a much better world for everyone. So.
Yeah, I mean, I could challenge you as we start to wrap up the show tonight. I could challenge you and say, was America? I mean, America was definitely at the center of the world, of the universe, but were parts of the dollar bill, as we talked about earlier, was that ever really meant anything? Did that ever really mean anything? If you look at a certain lens, or if you look at a certain lens of, was America ever really the center, or was it simply our mindset that made us the center? Because if you really think about it, yeah, if you really, I mean, it's a definitely, obviously you have every reason to debate this. I just like debating, so I'm just great idea. Challenge. But it's just another lens you can add to your set.
You're exactly right.
You can put on and you can see, okay, so yes, we have the dollar bill. We see its importance, but at the same time, you look in the other eye and you think, but what is the importance? Or, okay, this is important because of this reason, but what does that have to do with me? Or why does that matter right now? Or whatever it may be. And the same thing goes with our country. The whole sense that America was the greatest country is baloney.
Propaganda.
I mean, America, there is no great country. I mean, we're all living the same.
That's true in Russia. No, they believe their country is the greatest. Believe me, you can never anyway. But
we're all living. No, you're fine. We're all living. We all come in together and we all come out. We're born and then we die, and so there's no sense of greatness among countries, and same thing can go with classes. There should be no divide. It simply should just be one equilateral life, and so I'm just, to challenge you, is just saying that America being the center of attention, really, if you think about it, should have never happened. But here's the thing, though, America, once again, and this is what's kind of, I guess, funny / awful about our country, is the fact that with today's news, America gets back in the center of attention, because all anyone wants to talk about is what happened in Washington, D.C. today.
Yeah.
And when you have very progressive left-leaning countries, they're going to also realize what the three of us are realizing, the awful things that are happening, and the headlines, and how they're not calling them the terrorists that they are, and so on and so forth. And then you have those countries talking about it too. And so obviously that gets back into this whole sense of center of attention. We shouldn't ever be the center of attention. We really have nothing to pride ourselves in that big to be the center of attention constantly. I'm sorry, I'm being Debbie Downer here, but seriously, end of rant.
Moolah, bro. We control money. That's how we move. That's how America's done. They colonize, they take resources, and we control the flow of the money in the world. We always have been. A lot of people think of, some not conspiracy theories, but it is a reality that the United States of America is a corporation at the end of the day, and we're the biggest business in the world. So because we're the biggest business, we find ways to kind of diversify ourselves in a lot of different places. So Yeah, I know we're winding down, but we can do a whole episode on this, man. Believe me.
We keep going.
I just wanted to show that real clip. I mean, I know people probably that are listening to the podcast can see it, but we just show them that clip really quickly. My internet is now. As soon as I triggered it, now it doesn't want to work. Hold on one second, guys. Okay. Sweet. But yeah, just anyone that's still listening, we're not anti-American. We're not trying to commit treason right now. Dreamcast is probably the only one that has a lifeboat from Florida. So I don't know how Caleb's going to get out of landlocked Illinois if something gets crazy. But
I have many connections.
Okay, see, I knew it.
Yeah,
Caleb's not even your real name. I knew it. No. He's in the witness protection place.
My Italian citizenship. So see you guys on the other side.
See ya.
I'm out.
But it reminds me of the joke when everybody was like, "Oh, Trump's gonna be president. I'm moving to Canada," and now it's like Trump's not leaving. Guess we're still moving to Canada. You know. Yeah, you're right, and then I just wanted to add to your note, and you're exactly right. And I'm sorry for being so American centralized. You did say we're the attention of the world, but that doesn't mean we're the central power of the world. We're the media giants. Like they look at us for things, and they move from there. But if you go to Europe, they hate Americans. They hate everything that we do. They hate how we think. They hate what we eat. They hate how we talk.
Laugh at us.
They hate wrestling. And that's like the cornerstone of America.
Yep. People laugh at us. Different countries, they make fun of us on a constant basis. I mean, I can't tell you how many articles I read from like Irish newspapers at like the beginning of the pandemic, talking about America's response and how it was pathetic compared to the rest of the world. And I'm thinking the fact is the fact that other countries can look at it and realize just how much as we can as individuals in the country, as Americans, as citizens, how pathetic it was. Isn't that kind of sad?
Super sad, man. I don't want to end on such a sad note, but the positive aspect of this whole thing is that as crazy it may sound, I do like how 2020 and now I guess 2021, now all of a sudden these guys want to jump in to this whole rioting thing, but how we've kind of we haven't taken stuff at face value anymore. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that people are thinking logically. I appreciate that people are thinking, at least some of us are thinking, to actually like, not just like whatever the propaganda is politically, or just whatever job that you have or whatever place you live in. You're not stuck to that, you know? So I think there's something to it. I think we have to realize that we pay our public officers, our police officers, we pay our president, we pay all of them. Our tax-paying money and our clout actually has a lot to do with the way the country rolls. So we have to take control, you know? That's all I see. Not the actual building, but
why not?
No,
it seems effective.
Exactly.
Seems very effective.
With that, we can start to wrap up. Unless anybody else has anything they want to say, but we can go and wrap up. But once again, thank you as always for listening to the Identity Podcast. In watching the Identity Podcast every single week, we greatly appreciate it. It's always such an honor to be able to do this show, and of course with our New Year, New Identity episode that you have heard tonight, we've talked about all kinds of things, kind of a 2020 recap, the things that went on today in the country, just the way the world stands, the way our identity reflects, and how it could be reflected in the future, all kinds of different things. And of course, 2021 plans. I do want to say Dreamcast has a lot of big plans coming up. I can't wait to hear about them more, to see them, to witness them, to listen to them. Maybe that gives a hint or two out there. I can't wait. It's It's going to be great. So thank you, Dreamcast, for coming on the show. It's always an honor to have you on. It's an honor to know that you are just awesome, dude.
No, I definitely appreciate you. Our last episode when I was in PR, that was hilarious.
I loved it so
definitely
much.
A great time. I'm glad to be back. Glad to have Tarik on board as well. And
yeah, man.
Yeah, we missed you last time.
Yeah, you were my replacement.
Weren't you in Miami last time?
I needed you. I definitely needed you that day. I was super like, no, not like that. I meant like I couldn't come, and it was such a phenomenal episode that Caleb got a chance to do it, with you. So I thought that was awesome. So I actually enjoyed it. So this is the first time we're all actually on together. So 2021 is going to show us a lot more. We're going to see you a lot more. We're going to do some fun stuff. So yeah.
And you and I are definitely going to talk a little more about crypto.
Always. I'll keep you. I'm a HODL, man. So.
Got you, bro.
I'm a hold man to the moon, man. But we'll see. I might have to take some profits before it drops again, but we'll see. It's gonna drop. I'm just saying.
Right.
Not crazy, but it's gonna drop. But
no.
But
yeah.
So, are you looking at the video right now, Caleb? Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for surviving Endgame.
Honestly, yes.
Honestly, half the world disappeared.
Thanos with the snap. I actually watched that movie.
Exactly what happened, right?
I didn't want to make the joke, but
yeah.
Well,
if Caleb hadn't have done that wonderful speech, it would have probably been in poor taste. But like I said, I think what you bring to the table is the fact that we can have joy in the midst of all of this. Like I actually lost someone as well, so the way I've been healing from that has been like we're living life more abundantly, and that's what matters. You know what I mean? Their sacrifices were made for us to kind of move forward, and that's why we're here. Our ancestors have been with us for years, and it's time for us to keep moving forward. So we got to go fight Thanos, man. Get him out of the goddamn White House. No, that was my little political joke there. But yeah, so you gonna sign off, man?
Yeah, I'll sign off.
Okay.
On that note, but no, yeah, thank you. Thank you again, Dreamcast. Thanks again, Dreamcast, for coming on the show. As always, it's a great honor, and thank you always for everyone for listening and tuning into the Identity Podcast. You can like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram by the same name, Find Your ID NYC. Don't forget to check out our TikTok, our Identity Podcast, and our Twitter and YouTube page as well. YouTube at the X Shows. I mean, we're everywhere, honestly. Our Identity Podcast, you can check us out on Apple, Pandora, Spotify, Google Podcasts, any podcast app out there. I promise you, we are on there. Don't forget, if you want to sponsor us, please go ahead and email us at press@findyouridnyc.com. We are avidly would love to take sponsors. Please feel free. Or even if you want more information, go ahead, email us there now at the bottom of your screen. You can check that there. Don't forget that Bang is now sponsoring us, thanks to Dreamcast. Courtesy to Dreamcast. 2020 was a year. It really was. Ups and downs, but it was good and it was bad. It was a great time for us to reflect on our identity, everything happening. And unfortunately, it was a year where we lost a lot of people very close to us. But 2021 is that new page. We are flipping the page. And I put this up earlier, but it's a game-changing year for identity. It really is. And so I ask for you to continue to discover and reflect on who you are, your values, everything that you do, the people around you. And I continue to just ask you to be safe, to be smart, and to remember that we are in this together. Okay. We are in this together. We really are. once again, thank you as always for checking in. We've got some big things coming up next week, kind of starting to round out the On Religion series. We have the finales, the last 2 Wednesdays of the month of January, and then we move into environmentalism. Cannot wait to get into that. That's kind of my thing, but very excited to do that. We also have a Twitch and Bandcamp page for Identity Podcast coming out soon. Stay tuned for that. Cannot wait to start kind of getting stuff out there on our Patreon page as well, where you can actually become a subscriber of the Identity Podcast. Well, I'm your co-host, Caleb. Thank you as always for being here, for supporting us. We greatly appreciate it. My fellow lovely co-host, Tarik. Thank you for
I'm your co-host, lovely. No, 2021. We're gonna kill it this year, man. Thanks so much. I think we have an outro video, right? As well.
I was just about to get to that, Tarik. I'm one step ahead of the game.
But
we have an outro. So everyone, see you next week. Thanks again.